The Leica M5, the Leica nobody wanted until now. I want to tell you about a camera that got it completely wrong. Wrong shape, wrong size, wrong timing, wrong everything. And this somehow ended up being perfectly right. The Leica M5 came out in 1971 as a successor to the Leica M4, and instead of people going, oh wow, Leica finally did it, they went, what the hell is this camera? It flopped. Leica actually had to bring back an older model just to calm people down. Okay, it flopped so badly that Leica was on the verge of bankruptcy. That's how bad it was. And here's what's been quietly happening over the last few years. Photographers who actually use the M5 don't really want to sell it. And that's the thing I couldn't stop thinking about. So I borrowed one. Hi, I'm Prashana. Welcome to Midlifers, where we spend an inordinate amount of money and try to justify it intellectually. So today we're going deep down on the M5. I'm going to give you 5 reasons why you should consider buying it and 5 reasons why you should absolutely avoid it. But I'm also going to tell you something at the very end that nobody really talks about. Something that kind of reframes this whole camera, something to actually consider. So stick around for that. First, let's deal with something obvious. It's ugly. It's not Leica pretty. And every other M camera looks like it was drawn with a ruler and a dream. The Leica M5 unfortunately looks like a brick. It's bigger, it's boxier, it's heavier, and when it launched, people couldn't get past that. They wanted a slightly better Leica M4. But Leica gave them this instead. But here's what I've learned. Once you actually put it to your eye and start shooting with it, the looks stop mattering pretty quickly. And that's where the 5 reasons to buy this thing come in. Reason 1. It's the most cheapest and affordable proper Leica M camera with a built-in light meter. And in the Leica world, that sentence barely makes sense because cheap and Leica just don't share the same sentence. But the M5 exists in this weird pocket where it costs less than the M6 and gives you almost the same shooting experience. The M3, while beautiful, it has no meter. The M2, exactly the same. The M4 still has no meter, and what do? You either guess exposure with Sunny 16 or you carry that dreaded extra light meter around. The M5 just handles it. The built-in TTL metering system is excellent. You can view it from the viewfinder. It's simple, easy, done. And for less money than the M6, that's something everyone is chasing. That's a legitimately good deal, and by Leica standards, it's a miracle. Reason 2. The viewfinder experience is actually excellent. This one surprised me the most because when I think of Leica, I think of that pure, uncluttered view. But the M5's meter display doesn't clutter anything. It's just there. You can see your exposure, you can see your exact shutter speed, you can compose. You just glance and you adjust without looking away from your subject. And that changes the rhythm of the shooting completely. You stop thinking about exposure as a separate step, it becomes part of the process. Which means you can actually be present with what you're photographing, which is the whole point, right? Reason 3, and this is the one people don't expect. I personally feel the ergonomics are kind of brilliant. The bigger body is better for my bigger hands. The big shutter dial on the front, the one that looks weird in every other photo, you can adjust it while looking through the viewfinder with your finger without having to move the camera. I know, brilliant. It sounds like a small thing, but it isn't. Because once you've done that, adjusting the shutter speed mid-composition without breaking your eye contact with the scene, you feel it, The camera gets out of your way, and that ironically is the most Leica thing about the M5. Reason 4. It handles bigger lenses better, and this is one where size actually works for you. On a smaller M body, once you put on a faster 50 or 90mm lens, or even some heavier modern glass, it starts feeling a bit front heavy. The M5 feels a little bit more balanced, like it was actually designed for actual use and not just for display. If you're the kind of person who actually shoots with your Leica rather than just photographing it on a wooden desk, that actually matters. Last but not least, reason 5. It looks different. and on purpose. I know I said it looked ugly, but every other Leica looks like it wants to be in a museum. The M5 actually looks like it wants to be on assignment. And over time, that becomes part of why you like it. It doesn't look elegant, it just works. There's a strange confidence in that. Okay, so those are my 5 reasons why you should actually buy it. But this is still a Leica, and nothing about the Leica is ever that clean. So now, the 5 reasons why you should avoid it at all costs. Reason 1, and this is the big one, the meter arm. That beautiful built-in spot meter uses a physical arm inside the camera that swings up and down, which means certain lenses actually don't play nicely with it. Deeply protruding elements, some wide-angle lenses, or even collapsible lenses, they can interfere with the arm and potentially damage it. So now, instead of asking, does this lens fit? You have to ask, will this lens destroy my camera? And that's a different question. The whole purpose of shooting M lenses is this backwards compatibility. And if you like experimenting with vintage glass, this is a friction that might be a deal breaker for you. Reason 2, it's harder to service. The M5 is mechanically complex. There are fewer bodies out there for parts. These moving parts can go wrong. And not every technician wants to and is capable of dealing with it, which makes it very difficult to find someone who's willing to repair it and repair it affordably. So this affordable Leica becomes expensive real quick. Reason 3, early serial numbers are a bit of a gamble. Not all M5s were made equal. The earlier units had some issues that were quietly addressed later on. So when you're buying one, you're not just buying a model, you're buying a specific camera with a specific history. Check the meter, check the rangefinder, check the body, check the alignment of the rangefinder and the serial number. This is not a casual Leica eBay purchase. You should do your due diligence and get a good camera. Reason 4, it doesn't scratch that Leica itch. And I say this with full respect for that itch, because people don't buy Leicas just for the specs. They buy it for the feeling, for that history, for that slightly delusional belief that the camera will make them better. And ironically, in their eye, usually that involves a camera that looks similar to an M6. So if you really deep down want an M6, the M5 will always feel like a compromise, even when it isn't. The last and final reason why you should avoid it is that this camera is old, and it knows it. The M5 was designed with mercury batteries in mind, which don't exist anymore. And you're dealing with adapters, workaround, voltage differences. You could get a technician to adjust the voltage difference. This is not a deal breaker by any means, but one more thing to manage. And that's where this becomes a problem. The viewfinder is prone to separation as well, and finding an M5 viewfinder to replace it becomes inconvenient. The M6, though its viewfinder can be used inside the M5, it may not be an ideal replacement, and that's probably defeats the entire purpose of getting an M5. The funny thing is, the M5 failed because it was too honest. Leica users in 1971 wanted an object, something to hold, something to admire, something to feel good about. The M5 didn't care about any of that. It wanted to be useful, and people didn't forgive it for that. And here's the thing. The M5 assumes you're going to use it, not display it, not talk about it, not build an identity around it. Use it. And if that's you, and if you actually want a Leica that works for you instead of the other way around, the M5 makes a weird kind of sense. It's not the prettiest, it's not the most iconic, it's not the one people notice on your strap, but it might be the most honest Leica ever made. And sometimes, honesty is better than beautiful. That's the Leica M5. This has been Midlifers. Now go shoot something worth keeping.